Hey guys, today I'm going to answer the question of are physical treatments necessary to recover from CFS, ME, fibromyalgia? Okay, the short answer is no. Not only are they unnecessary, they're detrimental. I know there's going to be a lot of people who disagree with this point of view. I had a discussion with someone in the comments section on this very question, and so I wanted to put forward this video to discuss it, to clarify my views, and to put forward my opinion, and you are free to decide whether you agree, whether you disagree, and to do whatever you think is best for you. Okay, I'm not forcing anything on anybody here. So my point of view is that they're absolutely detrimental. The physical treatment is detrimental because it focuses your attention on the physicality, and the problem is not that something is broken within your body. That's a downstream effect. There are changes, physical changes, of course. Basically, I'm a materialist, philosophically speaking. Not like I like my big screen TV type materialist, although I like it. But like I believe the mind is a product of the brain. You know, maybe there's more to the universe, maybe, but I don't have any other candidates. So I'm going to stick with, okay, the brain, the mind is the product of the brain. You know, the brain somehow brings the mind into existence. It's a big scientific mystery. Maybe we'll never know the answer. But basically, this is my point of view. So, of course, every subjective state, every change in subjective state, every change in functioning of your body has a corresponding physiology associated with it. The point is, it's not useful, pragmatically speaking, from the point of view of recovering. It's not useful focusing on that aspect of it, okay? Because that is a downstream effect of certain psychological processes that are happening, okay? Namely, two things: threatening emotions coming up into consciousness, and the mind not wanting to have them come into consciousness, initiating physical symptoms as a distraction mechanism. That is the foundation of it. And then what happens over time is that we develop fear of symptoms, and there's a lot of fear conditioning that takes place, that takes on a life of its own, and then we're stuck with this. Not only is the mind using these symptoms to avoid attention on threatening emotions that are coming up, but also we fear symptoms, you know what I mean? And that fear just perpetuates the condition. Okay, so when we focus on the physicality of it, you know, trying to add this vitamin or add this antioxidant or treat this inflammation, non-existent usually here, or this or that or the other thing, it just puts our focus away from it's playing into the brain's game. Basically, it's doing what the brain wants, focusing on the physicality of it. You can recover in spite of doing all this, but in my opinion, it's better not to focus on that. I'm fully with Dr. Sarno on this. That's been my experience. This is what makes sense to me, and it's better to focus on your psychology, on what's going on with you, what emotions are coming up. Is there childhood trauma? Is there something else? Have you developed a certain perfectionistic, over-conscientious personality where you're feeling guilty a lot? Are you feeling ashamed about things? Things like that is where you got to put your focus into the arena of the emotional, the psychological, this stuff. Putting your attention on the physical stuff and pursuing various physical treatments, I think it's counterproductive. I think it puts your attention in the wrong place. I think you can recover in spite of it if you do these other things I've described, but no, that's my opinion. Now, nuance and clarification. Some people don't only have CFS, fibromyalgia, and other mind-body type conditions. They have other medical conditions sometimes. Someone mentioned autism. Okay, this is not from this category, okay, as far as I know. I'm not of the opinion that autism is this kind of a mind-body thing, although I think it can play a role and influence any illness. It is not a pure mind-body type process. not a physician, this is what I think. So if you have something like diabetes, okay, that's, got to work with your doctor. You got to take your insulin if that's been prescribed to you. If you have a genuine, for example, thyroid condition, and you need to take a hormone to replace what your body is not producing, and this has been confirmed by medical tests, and you're working with your doctor, yeah, of course you got to do that. Work with your doctor to treat any other conditions that are not part of the mind-body category of conditions. Okay, now of course there's a difficulty. The difficulty is in arguing and deciding, okay, which conditions are pure mind-body type conditions and which conditions have a physical component that is worth focusing on. That is not just an effect of psychological processes that are undergoing, but which is actually can be conceptualized as a cause where if we treat it, then we'll get a benefit from it. Okay, so we're kind of getting a little bit philosophical with it. So I hope this video is more or less clear to you and I'm communicating clearly. But if I'm not, ask questions. Maybe I'll make another video to clarify things. Maybe I'll find a better way to communicate these ideas myself, because these are kind of difficult ideas, to communicate. So I think that's okay. So if you've got other conditions that are not mind-body conditions, then of course they've got to be treated. Now, is CFS a pure mind-body condition? Is ME a pure mind-body condition? Is fibromyalgia a pure mind-body condition? Yes. In my opinion, yes. Absolutely. No doubt about it. In my opinion, in my mind, this is how I personally approach it. Of course, there are many, many other opinions out there, and people will say, well, what about this finding? What about that finding? There's a change in immune function and a change in this and a change in that and a cellular metabolism, this and this and that. I don't pay attention to this stuff. I used to read all that stuff. I used to read all that research. It made me more anxious about things. I derived absolutely no practical value out of it. There's nothing. You can go crazy pursuing different alternative type treatments, okay? People claiming they'll fix this hormone level, this vitamin deficiency. No, I don't believe that, okay? In my experience, it just makes you more anxious. It makes you focus on the wrong thing. It makes you focus on the physicality of it. It makes you focus on the symptoms, the effects, and not the causes. You got to go upstream to the causes. And the causes are, I've described them already. Another objection to this point of view is that, look, CFS, fibromyalgia, ME, it's an umbrella term, and it has many different causes. It has many different etiologies, Okay, I accept that. That's a possibility. I believe sometimes doctors miss something, okay? And they misdiagnose it, for example, as CFS. That's a possibility. Another possibility is, yes, for a tiny fraction of people, there are other unknown causes. We don't know everything. Maybe there's some new type of virus that we haven't heard of, maybe there's this whole other process that just medical science is not aware of. That is certainly a theoretical possibility. I don't deny it. But here's the thing. I believe that's, of course, I can't assign exact numbers because who knows, but I would just say, for the sake of the argument, that's like 1%. And 99% of people are not in that category. But 99% of people think they're in that 1% category. I felt that way. I felt there's something going on that science doesn't completely understand. And, maybe one day with more research, we'll find a cure or something like that. And it just made me anxious, and it kept me stuck. It kept me stuck. So chances are, I think, higher than 99. If you've been to doctors, if you've been examined countless times by doctors and all your tests are coming back and, normal, more or less normal, and you're pursuing alternative treatments and you're fussing with your diet over things, and you're in that place and you've been doing it for some time, man, I don't know, but chances are very high, in my opinion, that you have a mind-body condition, you know? And especially if you examine and you turn inwards and you examine what's going on, and you examine, okay, do I fear symptoms? Are they causing me this anxiety? And if I don't focus on the symptoms, does my anxiety increase? If just if you're not quite there yet, if you're not ready to accept this as a mind-body condition, just explore the possibility. Pursue whatever else you're pursuing, continue working with your doctor. Just explore this idea. Just try it on. See, okay, if I had it, what would be true? How can I test it for myself, Ask yourself these kinds of questions. So yeah, this is my answer to the CFS is an umbrella term, and it has many different causes, environmental causes, environmental poisoning, stuff like that. Honestly, you can disagree. My opinion is 99% of that is BS, and it serves only to increase your fear and keep you stuck. I've experienced this personally. Okay, so that's my opinion. I'm putting it out there. Do with it what you will, and good luck.